all the necessities that, keep you hopping there for a few minutes.
Well, that's for sure because I had some unexpected medical things that reared their ugly head this week, so I have to take a break and take care of those things. And it's super annoying because I have so many other things that I need to take care of right now. But it's obviously healthcare is a hill that I will always die on, and I always choose me first. Just to give you a little bit of a preview of our next Alchemy Annex on the 18th, we're going to be talking about making that choice where you are really more important than all of these other structures that you think are important.
Right, sure. And the reality of that is when you think about the core aspect of it, if you're not here, none of that matters. None of that matters. So when you're by choice giving your energy away, you're by choice shortening whatever someone else would really benefit from in the long run, as well as yourself. And even though you've got to keep the ego at bay, no, I don't do this. My ego says I have to be here for my children. Who cares what the reason is? You do it, just do it, and that makes everything that you need to worry about go away. The storing goes away, and you're feeling much better, or at least you're back on track to getting healthy.
And that's very key because a lot of us really sort of brainwash ourselves into thinking I have to do this. This is so important. It's really not because if you're not able to stand up on your 2 feet, if you're not able to see the beautiful world as God created, none of that stuff really matters at all, right? Then everything was just really for nothing.
Right. And I had that situation back in December. If you remember, I was told, we want you in the hospital for surgery right away. No, I have other things that I need to do in the right away. And I had to choose. I literally had to choose what's more important to me. Not ruining this woman's wedding because I couldn't step up to officiate, or taking care of myself first and making sure. And I had to really weigh the pros and the cons in that. So I had to literally say how intuitively how much of this really will affect me later on. And so I basically had a 24-hour window to get my stuff done that I was going to need to do to make it work to be into the hospital right away. And I hustled. Thank God my significant other could wheel me around in a wheelchair. But I did exactly that. I had the pro and con, what was more important, my health right away, or the few minutes I had as an example of love and give this woman away in her wedding officiation and make the day because everything else crapped out on her. It's really a difficult situation when you don't know what's right or wrong.
And of course, like because you and I are sort of naturally wired to be people pleasers because this is just how we are and this is what we do, that the disappointment and the letdown that's associated with the fact that, oh, I'm really sorry but I can't be there because something came up unexpectedly. And then because we don't really want to open up that whole can of worms or Pandora's box for the conversation that follows of, oh my god, what's going on, are you okay, kind of thing. We leave it intentionally very vague and unclear, just like, I'm really sorry but I have professional matters, or like, I have a health issue. And that's all they need to know because that's really all they need to know, right? But the fact that people, as the receiver of somebody of these types of messages, I actually had an experience this past week where I was disappointed by a service that I had hired somebody for. And for the first time, I decided not to let that person know my thoughts. It's really not important to let them know that they failed me and that their level of work just wasn't the best. Because who cares? I'm just not going to hire them again. So then I decided to just block that contact because why am I going to say anything further? As the recipient, as somebody who struggles very much with social skills, one of the things that I sort of wondered was, well, don't you just sort of prefer it though, to be blunt with people and to just sort of let them know the way that it really is because I just want that sense of finality? Sure, that's one side of it. But the other side of it too is I'm beginning to understand as I get older, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Just leave it at that. Let people get lost in the game of smoke and mirrors and think that everything is perfect. It's just easier that way because, otherwise we end up with really wild stalker situations that require a restraining order, and it doesn't have to escalate to that level. I mean, maybe depending on the type of person that you're dealing with or the characters in your story that you know that may be impaired in that regard and have a lot of issues that need to be worked out, then sure. But otherwise, it's just we don't need to know. We don't care. It doesn't matter. Just focus on yourself, and yeah, what I hired this person for, it wasn't the best, and I don't have to go back anymore because I don't need to repeat that mistake. If you guys have heard Beretta, we just it looks like she just kind of checked out for a second. So while
No,
we're waiting for Beretta
still in here.
to join us back again, all right, just a moment. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're back. You guys may have heard about all of the fires that are happening in the world right now. So this is something that I wanted to bring up quickly. This is one of the things about Uranian astrology where we can actually use like astrolocation data. It was rumored during the Second World War that our founding father, he would have people come to him and he would actually tell them, okay, you need to get out of Dodge. Like this is going to be the time when they're coming. Because we have formulas for things like a trip to death. We have formulas for things like invasions and bombings and all of that other kind of really dark, terrible stuff that happened during the war. So when we add in the location data, which regards the meridian and the ascendant specifically having to do with the place, then what we can do is we can take a look at what's happening in that particular place. So if you'll see right now on my screen, this is all of the transits out in the moment. There is some stuff that we don't really consider, like Mercury and the Moon, and perhaps even the Sun, just because all of that moves so quickly that it ages like milk. It's too difficult to track. But the main thing I really want to point out here is in this orange box, here we have the planet Zeus, which is sitting right here on that 22.5 degree arrow. If we look at the position of this planet right now, it's actually sitting at 22 degrees and 27 minutes, which is in retrograde, so it's moving backwards. Keep in mind that this planet does take over 500 years to orbit the sun, so it does sort of take a while to have all of that sort of play out. But the main takeaway here is the fact that when that planet gets as exact as it can to 22.5 degrees, that's going to be something that will be very, very much highlighted on the world stage. So wars is going to be one possible manifestation of this. Machinery will be another one. But more importantly, fire. And that's exactly what's going on. So you've heard about the fires in Nova Scotia. There's actually a map that I believe even the southern United States is on fire. I think like Alabama is even having some stuff going on right now or somewhere in there. It seems to just be a thing that fires are really an issue in the world right now. So this is why we want to look at this location data, because when we put that in there, it's given all of the different places on the planet, we're able to see what's going on right now. So if we know that there's going to be a fire, then we will see that here. If this may change, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let me rephrase. Okay, so
Fires.
yes, so fire. So with this whole thing here, that when we put that in, we're able to see what locations are being affected. Now, you do have to input every location individually just because there are so many different places. This is one of the reasons why we don't really get too much into like the forecasting of mundane events, because you have to put in that location data each and every single time, which is quite exhausting. And not to mention the fact that Uranian astrology, one of the hallmarks of our work is we analyze 3 charts that work in symphony with each other, and working with a single chart that's only just the planets out in the sky right now. This is basically like driving a car without a key, because we're missing 2 of the 3 major puzzle pieces that we need to put it all together. That's one of the reasons why these types of forecasts aren't the best, and we don't really tend to work with them just because they're not very helpful. But as you would have noticed a couple of days ago, probably like a day or so ago, when this sun over here, when that hit this 45-degree mark, which is around that dot, when it hit this dot right here, that would have been when we would have heard about a lot of this fire energy. And as this planet Zeus continues to move in retrograde, and then it's going to move forward again for a little bit, it'll probably be for the next couple of months at least that we're going to hear more and more about fires. I don't think that situation is getting any better anytime soon. It's going to be a slow burn, for the lack of a better term. And it's probably going to be somewhat painful for anybody who's involved. So thoughts and prayers to all of you who are involved in those situations right now. I really wish you all the best and hope that you can get the heck out of Dodge, because unfortunately the
Hmm.
political players at this time, they don't really seem to be too invested in as far as people's welfare is concerned right now. And this is going to be a thing or a major theme out in the world. So you may hear about other fires, and it's just going to be over and over again. This may also lead to shootings, because when this Mars makes some energy with Uranus down here, this is going to be gunfire. So, like a couple of days ago, when this Mars was sitting about like maybe that 40-degree point, then that would have been really ripe for something like for like mass shootings. Remember that we had all kinds of stories last year that talked about that, and then they sort of went away. It was very strange. But I think that's coming back again, especially because the planet of war, the god of war, Zeus, is bringing us all of this fire energy, and then if we add that to Mars and Uranus, that's attacks, that's gunfire, that's some really dark things. So the major news headlines that I would expect in the world over at least this summer anyway, they're going to be a lot of, I think, like fear mongering, trying to get our attention and hoping that it'll go, hoping to get our attention, to get us all emotional and upset about things that we can't control. So of course the best advice is turn off the damn TV. Quit paying attention to all of that crap. I took a break from mainstream news media headlines and all of that. I used to listen to it just to like to know what was going on in the world, but eventually you just start to realize this world is really dark and it's not a great place to be. So let me bury my head in the sand away from all of this, because as Rupert Murdoch will tell you, you can manufacture any type of hysteria that you really want using news media companies, and this is a thing that we're dealing with right now. So stay the heck away from them. That would be the best thing for you.
Yeah, I don't watch TV for the news anymore either. If I'm going to see headlines on the internet or on my email, and I'll select the channels that I want to see it through. I don't like news; it's biased, so I choose to make my own opinions over what I read and see.
It really does make a difference when you just turn off the white noise and all of that other crap in the background, because it really doesn't do anything to help us move forward. It's a huge thing for a
Oh,
lot of us here in the country, and especially even harder if you were raised in a generation where TV was very common and that was just sort of like a major centerpiece that everybody would
mm-hmm.
gather around. So it's really even harder to just get away from that. So like certain people will even admit to being hooked on these types of things, like they can't get away from it, like we can't get away from the internet. It's something very similar, just manifests in a different way. So my heart goes out to you if you're dealing with any of those kinds of things, because like mass brainwashing doesn't really help us a whole lot. So let's stay away from those
No,
energies and just focus on ourselves. I choose me, right? That's going to be our takeaway for right now. That's the main thing that we want to focus on. Now, before we get off to
right.
our phone lines, I just want to let everybody know that we will be here for about the next 45 minutes and taking your calls. We do have a call from area code 828. We will get to you in just a moment. And please give us a call here on the show at area code 319 527 6071. And be sure to press option 1. That does let me know that you would like to speak with me. I think it puts your hand up in the room or something like that. And on that note, let's go ahead and get off to area code 828. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Sure. My name is Stan, and my date of birth is November 5th, 1952.
November 5th, 1952. And at what time were you born, Stan?
At 7:47 p.m. That's East Coast.
7:47. Okay. And where were you born?
Richmond, Virginia.
Perfect. All right. And Stan, do you have a question for me today, or would you like a general about health, love, or career?
Oh, boy. Okay. I think what I'd like is some information on. I'm retirement age. I'm 70 years old. I've had a career in different things, and I've got some abilities that have to do with healing. And I am at a point now where I don't have a practice I've developed. I just want to know if there's some information I can get that would help guide me on what area to go into, or maybe am I just in order to make some additional money? I don't know. I just want to know what to do next, or what some guidance on, point me in the right direction that aligns with why I'm here and what I'm meant to do next.
Sure. All right. Perfect. Now, Beretta, what you got for Stan here?
Alrighty. Well, so it is time, Stan. You're absolutely right. It's time for you to develop a little bit more of a trade. The easiest way for you to do that is to attend a class or some kind of course in person in healing that would set you in tone with what it is you're meant to do. And by that in tone, I mean you're going to feel it. You're going to feel what's right. You're going to resonate with, and you're going to see the difference too. Excuse me. You're going to see the difference between what you're used to doing or being around and what you choose to do differently. You're going to see that difference in the people that are attracted to you. And I think after maybe 6 to 8 months, maybe even sooner, you are having all kind of doors open for you based on those people that you've met and struck up a reputation, or at least a relationship for talking with them about, and it will align you with what you're supposed to know. Now, because you have a plethora of modalities, I would not pick one over the other. However, I would choose one you want to know more about and let that be your course of study. It will lead you to the rest that you want to have an awareness or understanding, or at least an discourse in how you teach the very thing that you do, which that basically is kind of ultimately what you're going to want to know. Is this isn't just about healing. This isn't just about a modality of service in that healing level for you. You're going to teach it. You're going to teach what you eventually come to know. And I stop it with the, I'm 70 years old, I don't have that much time. Stop it. You do have that much time. And if you were to think about it, if you lived another 25 years from now, that's a whole life for some people that didn't make it past that 20 mark. So just know that you've got a lot of things you'll learn, a lot of things you'll apply, a lot of things you'll choose to know and do based on ultimately what you've come to realize about yourself, and not be too choosy, not be too specific about thinking, no, I don't want to learn that right now. No, I don't want. All these opportunities that are opening doors for you are not things you have to take, but don't put them off like they're not important, because they are. They would be referenced to you from spirit. So now, Ernesto, so you got some stuff up. So let's help Stan out, and you give him a little more detail.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look here, Stan. So I guess the easiest thing that I could see as far as like the career stuff that would be the most helpful to you as of right now, I will say this, that you're really sort of on a quest for networking and just finding the right contacts for what you want to focus on for business, and then making sure that that network of contacts has the appropriate resources so that all of that can move forward. I really see you more in like a group or a team effort, not so much as an individual operator. But getting back to my main point, what's helpful for right now, what you really sort of need to know is the fact that you would probably function the best as like a meditation coach. That this would be something very basic that you sort of dip your feet with, and that would allow you to open your mind to other things, because meditation is often a gateway to deeper parts of our mind that we just don't have access to normally. So then you can sort of get a better plan of where you're going. I do see that you'll probably be doing some type of like future technology. I don't really know what that refers to specifically. That could be Uranian astrology, and what I'm doing here on the screen. It could have to do with some other esoteric thing you've never heard of before that has to do with your network of contacts. But the major point is that you're really going through a time right now where you're wanting to expand your soul and your sense of self, and you're choosing to do this by way of your work and your actions. And regardless of what path you take, you will be successful with it. But I think that the biggest thing that you would benefit from right now is getting yourself out there and finding other groups of people. Like Veretta and I often joke on the show that spending time around other psychics is usually more exhausting than what it's worth. And I'm not saying don't go out and do that, but finding other sorts of groups in your area. I mean, if you're in the Virginia area still, then I would imagine that there's probably like some good metaphysical bookstores or something along those lines in the area where they have people who give classes, kind of thing. I think that like a drum circle, a meditation circle, any of those kinds of concepts would be very important stepping stones for right now, so that you can establish yourself and sort of what it is that you want to do. But I do feel like that's going to be the first part of it, and really just building your network of contacts. That needs to be the main focus for right now, because that's where you'll benefit the most.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina right now, by the way.
Oh wow, so that's all
Thank
you
you.
got, all the good stuff. So yeah, you've definitely got a perfect network up there. So be sure to reach out to other people and get some more information about that. But I do feel like that you do have some soul growing experiences that are going to be coming from all of this, and meditation is going to be the way it'll all start.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
For sure. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, pal.
Blessings.
Until next time, take care and good luck. Okay, and we are going to get off to area code 423 here. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Carrie, 2/14/1971.
2/14/71. All right, and you said your name was Carrie?
It is.
Okay, all right. Carrie, have you called us before?
I have.
You have? Okay, all right, great. So then I do have your birth information, because I just remember the name Carrie. It's not something that we get very often, or it's not a... Yeah, here we go. No, and that so you were born 6/8/85?
Nope.
No, I was born February 14th, 1971.
Okay. February 14th, 71. Okay, got it. At 11:57 p.m.
Yes.
Amazing. All right, got it. So now, Carrie, do you have a question for me, or would you like a general about health, love, or career?
Just general right now would be great.
Okay, all right. Health, love, or career, do you want us to choose for you?
Is it possible to do love and career?
If you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
So
Would you
no. Yes.
Probably career.
Okay, all right. Retta, what you got for career?
Okay. All right, Carrie. All right, so things are going to change for you, I guess, at home, which is going to make it possible to do something in a different shade, if you will, for career, something that you've not had the opportunity or possibility to do before. And this time it's going to be about healing. It's going to be about choosing to accept self and loving and all the blah 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 that goes along with it. I feel like most definitely it's going to be outside of what you would normally do, or what you would think is your court, outside of your court. But as far as this career choice is concerned, it's what you've led up to. Very similar to the gentleman we had just before you. But the feeling is that something else is going to happen first that will then afford you to be able to do that. Otherwise, you can't. I think that something is the romance part. But I'm going to look at career, and I'm going to feel that I would say, and Ernesto will give you the detail on time frame, it won't be, it'll be less than a year that you're in a different frame of mind, you're in a different state of being, your affairs are in order, so to speak, and different than they are right now. So I feel like in those changes, that's where the career picks up, and you can go and do things that you wouldn't normally have done or felt you had the right to do, or whatever the situation is, that gives you the go, the green light, says, yes, now's the time. Go ahead and do what you've been wanting to do for oh so long. And start looking for that avenue, start looking for that thing, those places or that place that will bring you what you want to have in your life. You're not meant to be so low, so don't go there in your head. And right now, do think of career and choices and changing your space and doing what you really have wanted to do for a long time. And so, with that, I'm going to have Ernesto run some more stuff at you and see what he can do.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Carrie, when I look at this and sort of what's going on right now, are you thinking about ending a relationship, or is the relationship sort of on the rocks, or perhaps you're maybe realizing that it's just not for you, or are you wanting to be in a relationship?
It would be probably, oh, geez, I don't even know if I want to be in one, but I'm not in one for sure.
Okay. All right, because I get like there's a lot of confusion. Like it's really funny how the call began. You know, would you like to talk about health, love, or career? And then you wanted to talk about career, and then you or love, or you weren't really sure. But I think that career is the main thing that you want to focus on, because there just seems to be a lot of confusion. Like, you know, you don't really know what you want, and you're trying to figure this out. Is this making sense to you? Because I feel like that this is a major theme for you right now, and just kind of like navigating all of the cloudiness that's in life and whatever that may refer to. That there's just something about just life in general that is just like, is this getting better? What the heck am I doing here? Can you relate to this at all?
I can relate to it. I've been out of work since September.
Okay, and
Oh,
it definitely and right now jobs definitely feel like a gamble. Now, what I will say though is that there are some work opportunities that I think that are coming up here for you, and they're not really that far off. I think they're going to be relatively close. So you are in a hot period of getting into some new work, but I think that the line of work that you're going to do is really going to be more in line with a career shift, something that's kind of different that you've not done before. So like let's say that you always used to work in a company and then you decide to work in a grocery store kind of thing. But it's more of the admin work that still sort of appeals to what you know how to do with your skill set. It's going to be some extension of what you already do, but the line of business itself is very different. So that's going to be where you're going to have better success. Is it's also going to give you some new clarity and some new frame of mind when it comes to the things that you're wanting to get out of life that you haven't been able to reach or achieve, just because of just that general sense of confusion about everything and just like, what the heck is this all about? Life just feels kind of stagnant in a lot of ways. It just kind of feels like I'm stuck, you know, like this is, I feel like I should be doing something, but it's not really getting better, you know, and I'm still going through the motions and hoping for all the right things. And I'm saying my affirmations and I'm using my aura spray and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm still not getting the results. What the heck, you guys? Are you, what? I want a refund. That's basically the experience that you're having right now. And I'm here to tell you that this is all set to change, but that's because you've really got to break the mold. Like, the mold needs to go away. It needs to be destroyed. Like, there's a new machine that's coming into Carrie's life. And I don't know if you know what that is quite yet, but the best advice that I could have is just like our last caller. You know, the meditation experience is something also that you would really very much benefit from. Hey, Veretta, that's something that we're going to have to talk about now, is starting up a meditation circle or
right,
something along those lines, because this is a common theme for us. So, Carrie, the
right.
other thing I will say is that the job that you will take, I want to say the job is going to be either in communications or it's going to be working from home.
Okay. Do you know, will it be soon?
By the end of summer, you'll have you'll have some opportunities that'll give you some options that you're looking for. So go out and apply for jobs right now. I hear that you can actually use AI to totally farm all of the jobbing websites. Just type in what you're looking for. It'll spit out a list of links, and then you can have the AI doctor up your resume so that it matches the job description, and that you can get callbacks on actual jobs and move forward with your life. I hear that using AI to our own advantage is really something that is out there for everybody, but we just don't know how to do it. So I really encourage you to go out to YouTube and look into some videos that explain that whole process of how it's done, because I am aware that instead of going to each and every single job site and typing in, the keywords that you're looking for that position, you can have the AI just return a short list out of everything, and you don't have to pick up a finger.
Okay, thank you. Am I definitely going to be changing course as far as the type of work? Am I definitely not going to be doing what I've done in the past?
I think that if you do, it will be within a different company, and that's more of what I'm getting, is that the line of business itself is very different than what you've ever done before. So it's still the same type of work, but it's just like it's a totally different work culture, because you're going from like the big, fancy corporations to a grocery store where people don't really care so much.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. And then I do want to let you know, gambling is something that you may think that you want to do right now. I'm sure you maybe even had this thought, like, hey, maybe I should hit up the casino or buy a lottery ticket or something like that. Those things aren't really the thing. I don't think that's the gambling energy you're really looking for. The gambling energy is more on the career, like, hey, that's a wild shot. Like, I can't see myself working back office for like a car wash business, or doing, taking phone calls at a law office kind of thing. It's something that's very different and that really breaks the mold of what you're used to. That's going to be the gamble of the career. And you know what? You will be very successful with whatever that may be. And I think that the love piece that you were sort of looking for or wondering about, that's also going to be sort of a byproduct of the new career change. So once you get yourself into the right environment, then everything else will fall into place. The best way that I could advise you to do that is always choose yourself. I choose me, what we're talking about next week on our Alchemy Annex program. When you put the focus back on yourself and build your own personal economy and currency with the things that bring you joy, it is truly amazing what happens to your perspective on life, because you see things in ways that you never did before, and you start realizing, oh, so that conversation I had with that person last week, that got me to thinking about this other thing that I've never thought about. And then what happens if I run down that rabbit hole? That's how that all works. So that would be the best way that I would say, when we say we don't know what that line of business is, that's going to be how you'll get to that point, is focus on yourself and building that own personal economy currency.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, Carrie. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care, and until next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and just before we get off to Patricia here at area code 216, Veretta, I just want to sort of summarize from our last two callers. It's so funny that meditation is always such a common theme here on the show, and that it seems to be that a lot of us have this not only just in our chart, but it's just generally a skill that needs to sort of be practiced. I've even been going through this past week, to where I need to lie down. I'm not tired. I just need to rest my eyes. But I'm not tired. So what the heck am I going to do? I can't look at my phone. That doesn't make me feel any better right now. Listening to this music doesn't help me at the moment, because, it's too upbeat and I'm not tired, and I have to lie here and I feel punished because I have to be here and take care of myself. And then I realized, hey, I wonder what happens if I listen to meditation music and just focus on myself. And then it started doing I had this really wild experience with like dopamine pain modulation, where, dopamine is not really something that is used for pain relief so much, but music, because whenever a chord resolves, it triggers off dopamine in our brain. And I like really polyphonic music with many different moving lines. So you have chord after chord after chord that resolves itself, and it sends me into like crying mode within like 60 seconds. That is not only is that just healing, but it's relieving me of any of the pain symptoms that I'm going through. So that's pain modulation right there. So I've had that experience through meditation, and now I'm almost kind of like, I want to do this more because it makes me feel good. Not because I enjoy it. Forget that, because lying down and listening to really slow music, that's punishment for the most part. But it feels really good when it's afterwards. So let me do that. Let me focus on the positive end of things. And that's how I'm able to sort of make that work. A lot of us, when it comes to meditation, we just very simply don't know how. And the easiest way to do it is to just very simply focus on your breath. And that's all that I can do is, Like a lot of us will think, oh, I have all these, thoughts in my internal dialogue that I can't turn off, or I have an itch, or that kind of thing. And it's like, no, focus on your breathing, because that totally just mutes all of that other internal chatter. It really does. It's a practice skill, and what I'm beginning to learn is I may not like the experience, but I like the way it makes me feel, which is why I do it. Very similar to like why a lot of people get addicted to exercise. I don't enjoy exercise. I just like the way it makes me feel afterwards, or a runner's high. Same kind of concept.
And the reality is when you get to the point to where when you can meditate alone, you don't have to sit in a silent room and, hold space for a continuous circle. You need to just focus on what you need to know and go silent. Put your body in automatic pilot. Don't be paying attention to what you're doing. Now, I would not suggest to do this while you're driving, by the way. However, it can be done. And so you have to really pay attention to what you're doing before you kick yourself into automatic mode, because you do want to be aware of your surroundings. And sitting in silence is always a good way to make it work, but sometimes we don't have silence to sit in. So we have to make this do with understanding how to regulate our thoughts. Like you said, pay attention to our breathing, or also learn to ground ourselves no matter where we are. And for me, the simplest way to ground people when I know they're scattered and I'm sitting down trying to read them, I tell them to inhale and think of the bottom of their feet. As they exhale, they see the energy coming up into their body from the ground or wherever their feet are. It doesn't have to be on the ground. It can just be wherever their soles of their feet are. And I immediately teach people how to ground themselves, even though they thought, or they continued to think up until that moment, that it couldn't be done. I can't be done. I'm 30,000 feet in the air as a pilot. Yeah, you can do it. Let me tell you how and why. I can't do that. I live on the third floor of an apartment building, and if to ground myself, I have to run downstairs and stand in the grass. No, you don't. So these are also things that when you're like you and I are not so crazy as far as sitting still and doing nothing, that's not an option. And I understand wholeheartedly about closing your eyes, because you want to be able to think without unobstructed thought. Well, so when you get to that point of allowing yourself to meditate in passing, then you also allow your body, mostly your eyes, to look at things then that would dictate a message to you that it wouldn't otherwise, except for you're in that go mode as medium or as trance channeler, and you're not in trance, you're conscious, but you're also allowing yourself to be in that automatic mode, which lets you go a little bit deeper in your channeling. And so therefore you're looking at words on cartons, on the wall, on the anything, and you're finding that it's giving you message. So all of these reasons are a good reason to stimulate you sitting and listening to music. However, don't listen to music. Do not listen to chant that goes on and on and on. It has to escalate and come to a point, and then lead you softly back down. But the whole point of that is to bring the information through your emotions up. Why am I crying like this? Why does that touch me like that? Well, because something here resonated with you there, and there being could be in the past, what you're dealing with now, or just old stuff coming to the surface and having to be let out, expressed, purged. So you cry because you need to get rid of that stuff. And then you wonder, what the heck? Am I damaged? No, you're not damaged. You're healing yourself. Again, you're picking you. And it's okay to cry after sitting with people or sitting by yourself in silence through meditation, because it's a purge and it's a natural step. So I do encourage a lot of people to sit in meditation. And you can, it's funny, yeah, these last two would be beneficial. I've had at least 3 in the last 4 days step up. 2, I know, 1 I didn't, and 1 was just a reading that said, I would love to do a meditation if you had one. We're being pushed into that. So I think it's something that we really should think about trying to do.
And just as a quick shout out for our Patreon program, once we transition into that starting next month, at our Alchemist tier and at our Activator tiers, you also do get a personalized mantra or invocation that you can use during your meditation practice. So that is something that we will be working on over the next month or so as we're getting that set up. Now, we're going to go ahead and take our next caller here from area code 216. Hi, Patricia. Are you on the line? Can you hear us right now? Hello? Are you there?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. This is Patricia.
Yep, we got you. So I have your chart up, Patricia. Now, do you have a question for us, or would you like a general about health, love, or career?
I like. We have a question. Particular question. I'd like to. All right, let me take a general. Let me switch on the career.
Okay, Verita, what you got?
Okay. All righty. Okay, so immediately I kind of get this, you're going to want to reserve all your energy or take all your time out now or party while you don't have a job, because once that comes, it's going to be all encompassing. And that is going to come. And it, in relative terms, would be shortly, but you got to remember, Patricia here doesn't own a clock. So shortly to them is like, okay, I'm waiting a year now. What's up with the shortly part? So don't confuse that with it's a given. I do believe, though, you've waited long enough, and I also get the impression that you're not having to wait much longer. Is an indicator that you find the right spot. I also feel like you'll be, I don't want to say elevated, but I do want to say you're actually being given the responsibility in a job here that is really what you want and it's who you are. You might not have thought of it because you didn't think you either had credentials or could do that, but it is going to be something that you're offered, and it's going to mean a lot to you that people are recognizing who you are and what you have to offer to them specific. And so I would say it's not what you specifically would choose or typically would choose because you don't think you should get this, but you're gonna. And I don't know how it comes through. Maybe Ernesto can give us a little bit more. Maybe you have to apply. You run into somebody, I don't know, but it's not coming through to me. Maybe Ernesto can give you that little bit. And I want to say up front, congratulations, Patricia. It's the work of your dreams, so it'll be a good thing. Now, Ernesto, what you got?
Okay, all right. So I'm taking a look at this. So so Patricia, where are you in the moving process right now? How's that all going for you?
Well, I'm going to push back and leave probably the end of July instead of the first week in July for a couple of reasons. I'm, really working on writing and creating a talk as for speaking, and really to have that prepared, one, but also getting these remote jobs online. And I mean just a couple of them, side gigs, but about a couple or three so that they can kind of add up the income-wise and give me some type of insurance, healthcare, that I can make a reasonable income while I'm preparing to move. And then these traveling hospitality online groups like in Facebook, I'm not getting a response as yet. So like I said, I want to have more money to bring with me, because I'm going to have to store just a couple of bins in the storage unit briefly. But also, I'm going to these doctor's appointments just to hear what they have to say. And so, but I've bought. Uh, I'm still doing what I'm doing, with the alternative health medicine, cognitive energy healing, and I've bought a supplement uh, that nourishes the body and helps it on a cellular level. But yeah, basically getting money, getting these little remote jobs, and really getting some with the writing, getting something on paper, say a talk, something, and with the skill set with the remote work, so that I can really keep on be somewhat prepared, well, a whole lot prepared while I'm going through these transitions.
Because as far as the job is concerned, I feel like that we were, when I was speaking to Carrie in our last call, that you can really use the AI to farm all of these different jobbing websites for the work from home positions that are right for you, and then doctor up your resume doing the same type of thing using the AI. That job that you're looking for,
Right.
it's on the horizon. It's definitely coming. I want to say that, like, by the end of summer, it would take me some more time than what we have on the air right now to break that down for you. And I know that you do have a writing question for us for our next program, so maybe I'm able to get into a little bit more there. But the timing for this particular issue of where you're at right now with this career move, um, this is really the right time for you. Where I really see you benefiting the most, you would really seriously benefit from doing like some actual public speaking training. And I mean by, like, whether if that's a Toastmasters group or something along those lines. And a lot of Toastmasters groups are available virtually. I know from experience because I'm in one, and it's really been a life changing experience for me. I mean, it has allowed me to take a total 180 on my life when I was introduced to a group of people who were really just quite amazing and allowed me to see myself in a way that I never did before, because everybody was so positive and so uplifting. And that was kind of a surprise when I'm used to processing customer complaints and just being a dragon on the regular. So it was really quite refreshing for me to have this experience. And I feel like that you would go through something similar, and you would very much benefit by improving your communication skills. I mean, whatever you think they are right now, they're not good enough for this type of job. They still need a bit of a step up. And I feel that that would be the first way that you could do this. And also that, let me take a look at the rule book right here to see what that structure is all about. So we've got Mars, Ascendant, and the Node. Let me see what rule says. Here we go. No, I'll do it in this book. Okay, so that did not work. Okay, so that, I don't know what I just did. That's not supposed to happen at all. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So this would be a common activity with others. Is this so like a group or, something where people congregate and do things together? That would be, um, that would be the type of situation that you're looking for. Also, it's defined as to be called upon or to be asked. That would be another one. Connection with others under compulsion. So this is something that people can't get enough of. So whatever it is that you're joining or you're going to be involved with, it's going to be something where everybody is so into it together that, you're all a bunch of addicts, because it's just such a terrific experience. So I do feel like that this is going to be something that you're really going to enjoy. It's going to be a change of pace for you from all of the humdrum and just sort of gloom of regular life. It'll be a definite break in that regard. So this is something that is coming to you, and I want to say that like the next month or two is going to be when you're going to find this. The job itself will be by the end of summer, from what I can see here, And again, the best way that I can always describe it is, well, how does that happen? How do I attract this? Focus on yourself, build in your own personal economy, and building that personal currency by doing the things that bring you joy, and by always bringing the focus on me. Then you'll be able to see things in a much clearer perspective. That's going to be where you're able to come up with these ideas and get these thoughts. So that's what I have here. Veretta, do you have anything else? Because that's what I'm picking up in the chart right now.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, it has absolutely everything to do with what I was saying in that late summer. I'm just in July, though. She's moving forward with what she's seeing, and she's definitely going to get opportunity. That's not even close to, speculate. That's going to be reality. So I get everything that you're saying. I get that she's going to have a lot of opportunities too. So
do you feel like
hopefully
do you feel like that the job will pop itself up after the move has been
Yeah.
rendered?
That's a good probability, because I see them kind of going hand in hand. So either it's the job that pops up and gives her the security to move forward, or she's gotten the job and she knows that it's going to be okay. She's got enough money and she can decide what she needs to do then. And
Right,
if that's the case, she gets the job a little sooner, to the end of June, so she can get a good month in.
Yeah, so so just to give you a heads up, that means that like either the job is going to call you to relocate, or after you relocate, then the opportunity will present itself. So either it could swing either way, and again, we don't know how that'll go. That's a separate inquiry that I'd have to look at. But what I can tell you is just focus on yourself, and then that's when you'll be able to see it more clearly.
Okay, and then of course I can continue to start working on the digital products and start researching the groups of people and how I can fill those needs with digital products. All right. Well, I'm encouraged.
And also be sure to go out to like Reddit or Clubhouse or any of those other kinds of social platforms and get feedback from actual people, and say like, hey, I'm doing this, and just give them like a draft or a sample and say, along with a questionnaire that says, what is your feedback? Would you recommend this to a friend, kind of thing? Just so you can actually figure out, is this something that people would actually invest themselves in? Because that feedback is always really valuable, because like when I went through my book process, I thought, this is perfect. This is amazing. And then I find out that there are all of these really deep flaws that I didn't address that were all up in my mind, and that all seemed to play out that way. But when you actually read it on paper as a layperson who doesn't know the subject, it's a totally different experience from what I'm experiencing on this end.
All right. Well, good.
And we do have you down for our next Alchemy Annex, so we'll definitely take a look at that question. So be sure to come back to us next Sunday on the 18th, and we'll take care of that for you.
All right. Thank you very much, and have a good day, good week.
For sure. Until next time, many blessings. Take care, and good night. Okay, so here we go to area code 312. We do have a new caller here. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please? Hello, are you there? Okay, we will get back to you in just a moment. We'll circle around. And so for right now, we are going to get off to Julia at area code 863. Hi, Julia. Are you out there with me? Can you hear me right now?
Hi, yes, I hear you. Thank you for taking my call.
Perfect. So I do have your chart in our system because you have called us before. Let's see. And you were born on September 16th, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perfect. All right, got it. So now, would you have a question for us, or would you like a general about health, love, or career?
I have a question, but if you happen to see something that's like jumping off the page that you think, needs my attention more than my question, I would appreciate,
okay, what's your question?
Hearing your insight. So I'd just like to leave that door open if possible.
Okay, always. No, what's your question for us?
It's kind of circling back to the one I've asked before about moving, relocating.
Okay.
I'm just seeing if we're kind of getting any closer to that being a reality for this year, or
Okay, all right, Beretta, what you got about
or should I just kind of let that percolate for a while longer? So,
Okay, well, let's take a look. We can't say it's not to get hurt to take a look. Um, and I don't know the situation or circumstance, even though I may have addressed it for you before. For me, it just comes through me. I don't store it in my subconscious, so bear with me if you get the same information. Not because I want to be lazy, it's because it's just coming through that way. So, as you're talking about wanting to know more info in regards to moving, I get that it's not going to happen in the way that you thought or the manner that you thought. They don't even give me a when. It's in. So what do I want to say? It is in something or somebody is contemplating something that changes the end result for you. And I heard you say us. So are you married? Do you have a partner?
it's me and my mother. I'm 61
Mother?
and
Okay.
she's 82.
All right. Let me. Okay. So are you looking for emphasis on mom, or are you just looking in general for emphasis like you would on it would just moving to any place else? You're doing it from that perspective. Okay. So this is what you're going to change. Start looking for specific placements that would be easier for mom. And of course, since you're there, it'll be easier for you too. But I feel like you want to look for 55 and older, guaranteed to supplement whatever it is you need. It's like an all-inclusive environment, all-inclusive community with everything. So I can see if you're looking from that perspective, should you want to try to get into something like that, it won't be any time at all. But if you keep looking in the manner you're looking now, then I'm not seeing it happen anytime soon, unfortunately. So let's let Ernesto give you a little bit more detail on that, because he may be able to pick that apart overall and give you some more information. So Ernesto, what's that?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look at this. So, Julia, when it comes to a move, the thing that I feel like is restricting you the most is going to be a money issue. And specifically, I don't mean that it could be a lack of money, but I just feel like that a move at this point in time would be sort of catastrophic to your pocketbook. It would end up costing a lot more money than what you want it to, just because of unnecessary expenses like plungers and curtain rods and all of that stuff that adds up so fast. And then you're just you've basically had it because you're bleeding out the sides and you don't know why, and you get mad because it's like, do I have to do this again? Well, yes, you do, because if this is what you want, this is the way it has to be. So, as far as your question, from what I can see, I feel like that this is not really like the right year for that sort of thing to happen, just because there's so much that you wouldn't benefit from, and then it would just be more, I think, distressing than what you're really wanting it to be. What I will say is that, let me take a look here for voyages, because I know that is a thing. I'm curious about just scouting out new places for moving. Like you may have some ideas, but it's not. Oh, that's good to know. All right. So you're in a travel period right now. It's based on what I'm seeing, is that this is going to be where you want to kind of get out of Dodge, but not like for the sake of anything else, but just to like have a nice pleasure trip. Go with mom and check out the sites that some places you've always talked about, like, I don't know, like Albuquerque or Las Cruces, or what is that place? Santa Fe, New Mexico, Sedona, Arizona. Like fancy sorts of places, and then stop at all of the places along the way, just to sort of enjoy each other's time and company and all of that. I think that that'll help to give you a lot of ideas about where you're heading and where you'd like to go, just because, when we restrict ourselves to what we see on the internet, which is not very much and doesn't give us a true perspective about how the location or the culture of a place can really sort of express itself, then that limits our options in a lot of ways. So where you would really benefit right now, I don't think the move is necessarily there for you at this point in time. I feel like that you're probably looking at about another year or so, but what you would benefit from is just to go out and enjoy each other's time and company on these little vacations or excursions, and say, hey mom, let's go out for a week and do this go to check out these nearby places that we've always talked about. Do those kinds of things. I think that's going to be when you're going to start to see some things along the way that'll kind of percolate your interest, and you may even see that right place that's just right for you, that you say, oh, there's a for rent sign here, we never saw that, would you think about living here? And then you give them a call and it all just sort of falls into line. That kind of thing, I feel like that could work out for you. But again, be advised that there is some expense to that too, that there and also some weirdness, some ugliness as far as like legal issues, like signing contracts and that kind of thing may lead to some complications that you didn't really sign up for. So I feel like that pushing a move can definitely work, but it's going to be more problematic than what it's sort of worth. And then just to give you a little bit of a timeline of how that'll all work out for you, Julia, is in the next phase, once you actually get to the new location, then I really feel like that you're either going to be looking at like full retirement, like I am done working entirely, or you're going to be doing some self-employment where, like Patricia, our last caller, where you're working on some side hustle to keep yourself busy just for the sake of doing something, whether if that's your livelihood or for your mental health or whatever reason that is, that you're going to be focusing a lot of your energy and efforts on that. And I want to say that the nature of the work or the employment itself will be more spiritually aligned or having, again, something to do with communications.
Awesome. It's funny that you mentioned about in the travel period, because we actually are going to be going for a vacation. My daughter is due to give birth at the end of this month, so we are going to be actually traveling. I just thought that was kind of interesting that, the astrology said, travel, and we are traveling. So that was kind of a cool confirmation. So
well, be sure to keep it up, and not just this one trip, but every month, make it a point that, hey, we want to go out and do this. Even if that's just to go, if the budget doesn't allow for it, even to just, take a trip that's maybe an hour or two away just to go sightseeing and have a picnic, just to go out and, see the pretty earth and get some fresh air. That would do a world of difference for you right now. And it'll give you some new perspective on the move energy of where that's all headed.
Awesome. Well, beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For sure. It was great to have you on the show, Julia. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Take care until next time.
Blessings. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, and we are going to get off to Jessica here. It looks like we lost our other caller, so hopefully we'll catch you back on a different show from area code 312. And Jessica at area code 267, are you there? Can you hear us on the line right now?
Yes. Hey, how are you? Loretta, I was wondering first off if you could get like closer to it's hard to hear you today. I don't know if you're like in a different room or something.
No, I've got a different headset on.
Oh, that's what it is. It sounds very distant. Okay. So I wanted to see what you were picking up as far as the new job, because I haven't quite connected with it yet. I got a part-time server job with events. So it reminded me, like I used to be an event planner, so it reminded me of this like love that I used to have. And I'm excited about the job, but I need a full-time job. And I need it this month because I'm moving. So I need the funds and to show the income for my new landlord. So I'm wondering what you're picking up with that.
Okay, do me a favor. Just one time I need you to say your name out loud if you would, and I want you to take a breath and exhale. As you exhale, I want you to think of the bottom of your feet. So take a breath as you exhale, tell me your name, and think of the bottom of your feet.
Jessica.
There we go. All right, you were a bit scattered there, sweetie. So I get the conundrum you're in, and I feel like one of the things that you're going to do is pick up what you need from really what you're having to do, like what you don't want to do the most. So even though the catering job may be cool, and it's a temporary thing, it just isn't your show. So what I think, even though it's a good thing, you can do it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying that it just ultimately isn't what you want to do directly, and that's what you're looking for. Start putting the word out. Every catering job, every time you're serving somewhere, start putting the word out that you're looking for something different. And I think from that perspective, something's going to come out. Now, what I also get is that because you can do this from home, whatever this is, you're going to start scanning. And Ernesto, I bet you Ernesto will give you all kind of leads, but you're going to start scanning the internet for stay-at-home jobs and like those side hustles. And so with you catering or serving as you cater and with the side hustle, you'll be making more than you would if you just had one job. However, this is strictly meant to get you to that one job period. So regardless of the side hustle that you take, it doesn't matter. It's just enough to get you more of what you're making already and then get you closer to what you want to have in the long run. So let's let Ernesto look at that, because I bet you he's going to tell you how to make that happen. It's kind of been a theme for today with that kind of thing. But
okay, but before you pass me off, because I really don't need an astrology reading right now. I just called in to speak with you today, but I have been applying like crazy for event planner jobs as well as like project manager jobs, and this has been since like I left that job, which has already been like 3 months now, and it's like the middle of June, and of course, like, yes, I am feeling a little bit scattered, a little bit triggered, because I'm having like, last year I became homeless like in May. So
anxiety,
that's what, I don't, so there's just a little bit of,
I got you, babe. I got you. I hear you. So look at communicating, look at networking, period, as far as finding that one place. It's going to be mouth. It's going to be word of referral, someone you talk to, someone, just keep asking, keep putting the word out. Don't focus so much on it has to be a response from the job apps that you're putting in. That's not necessarily going to be what gets you to what you want to do, run your own show eventually. It's just you have to be creative enough to ask the right person, intuitive enough to know that they're going to give you the answer that you want, and strike up a conversation. Even though you're kind of over it, the catering, serving stuff, it's still going to be necessity-wise as far as networking goes. So keep looking that way. Keep asking anybody you run into. I feel like you're going to be running into people you maybe don't know, but you haven't seen in a long time. I mean, random strangers, basically ask them. If your intuition is saying talk, walk up to them and talk. That's what they're telling you to do. Walk up to them, strike up a conversation. Hey, by the way, do you know anybody that's hiring? And that's what it's going to take. But I really feel like this side hustle you're going to get, working online or whatever it is you're going to do, that's really, that itself is going to put you over the top financially. Working with your little side gig, doing your serving hustle, that and this other online thing is going to put you over the top in what you would basically start at as in a solo job. That doesn't mean don't do it. It just means that know that, yes, you're going to make pretty good money while you wait for that right thing to come along. So pick up a side hustle and get going. I feel like, honestly, I can't even go in one direction. There's so many ways you can pick up one online. Start by listening to Instagram, side gigs, side gigs, and start finding the one that applies to you, or reaches out and says, hey, yeah, this is going to be an easy one. Let me do that. There's so many out there right now. So don't get rescattered in the sense that don't go into a tailspin because, oh my God, I don't know when it's coming and I can't afford to do this anymore. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Stick with your eyes straight ahead and wide open and know that you can make a difference in your financial situation. Just go ahead and do a little more digging online and see what that gig is going to net you. And I think you'll be surprised pleasantly. Now, I think I would feel remiss not to say, Ernesto, at least can you give her what I said in the charts, will it be accurate enough to let that go and she can hang up? Or is there something maybe that I missed?
I'm not
Yeah, I
really
mean, you're confirming it. I'm sorry, you're just confirming everything that I have been doing. I just feel annoyed that I'm constantly, and I have been asking everybody.
Keep doing it, sweetie. Keep doing it. I know it's driving you insane to wait.
Yeah, it's just
a repeat pattern.
It's like I'm constantly working hard at these things, and it's like I know that I'm going through a transitional period, and I know Ernesto said, hey, this is going to be sorted, that you're going to be through this transition by like July-ish or the end of July or what, but it's just like in between there, my landlord was like, hey, 30 days notice, and it was like, this again? So it was just kind of, when I want to just relax and be taken care of by spirit, like instead I'm kind of still working hard at things, like balancing it between surrender, but it's just, it gets irritating. And even the catering job, like that doesn't fully start until July 1st, which is when I'm supposed to be moving anyway. I'm hopefully picking up 2 jobs from them this week, but the timing's funny, and I know it's invited.
I hear you, and the frustration is creating an anxiety state, but don't let it get to you, sweetie. Spirit's got something for you. You just kind of have to wait, and that's not always everybody's best friend in that kind of category when they're wanting it to change now. Thank you very much. I don't want to wait anymore. I need to be different now, but overall, Spirit sees more and better than we do, so we just kind of have to be patient. We got to be patient and wait and keep putting our foot forward, knowing that we're doing the right thing. We're doing what we're told to by Spirit. And so whether it pays out right now or not, it is a point. The fact is it will pay out. So, and we can't dictate. We can't say, well, I want it this way and I want it at this time. No, that doesn't work that way. You have to resonate.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I know I have to just keep clearing like the homeless sphere again, because as the days go by, that's why I'm putting my stuff into storage again. So now I'm planning ahead, and I'm like, look, you can focus on the job. You're going to be busy working. You have stuff packed away. That's taken care of. It's not last minute like last time. Like you're doing much better. Everything's going to be okay this time. But there is a little bit of fear of like, not.
I hear you. But the fact right there that you're actually doing what you're supposed to is what's going to guarantee you're not going to be put in that position. You're not denying. You're not looking the other way. You're not pretending like it can't ever happen to you. What you're doing is being realistic enough to know that if you don't prepare for the situation, bad things are going to happen. So you got that down. You got that part right. Good for you. Now let's stay in a positive state, even though it feels very much like we're on a paper ladder. Just one step ahead of you, one step at a time. One step at a time will get you further down the road than you can possibly imagine. Hang in there with it. Keep doing it. Spirit, like I said, doesn't own a clock. I don't know if that was you I said that with or someone else before, but the reality of it is they don't. And your happiness does not hinge on their awareness of what time it is. So just keep your happiness, look forward. Don't worry about what's coming at you. Don't make it come either. But just know that you're still in the process of changing that end result. And the story doesn't have to be the same as it was before. And we have to know we write our own story. So whenever we start getting frustrated, that's our fault. It's our fault because we're not allowing Spirit and we're not believing in Spirit enough to say, okay, I'm going to go the reins, God, take over, please let it be a soft landing. So hang in there, honey. You're going to make a difference in what you're doing. There is no rush, but it is going to make a difference before you need to be living in your car again. So hang in there.
Yeah, okay. And that's exactly what I've been affirming. So thank you. I need to hear it from like the outside, I guess. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. And it's good to hear it from the outside because that does affirm. Well, how the hell did that happen? Have they been in my head all along? No, they didn't. But that's Spirit sending you a message. So it's all good. You're all good, honey. Keep hanging in there. Keep moving forward. Keep, like I said, one foot in front of the other. You'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just needed to hear it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for giving us a call, Jessica. We'll catch up with you next time. Take care and many blessings.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So it looks like that is everything for our show today. I do want to let everybody know, just sort of as like a follow up to that last call, is, Jessica decided to decline that she didn't want me to say anything. Well, you do realize that I work with 8,000 different formulas and they all mean different things. So, I mean, I actually found out recently that we have a formula for lice. So, I mean, this is a thing that I can actually even tell you about. I've even read the chart before looking for things like ghosts, which is something that I don't profess to work with. And there is so much here. And, like our last caller just declined the astrology half of the reading. I had amazing, beautiful things that were immediately standing out here in this chart that I could talk about, probably for at least 5 minutes. But if that's what you want, if you don't want me, then I don't want you either. That's just kind of the way I operate. And it's a basic rule of customer service. Like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That if if you try to say to somebody, oh, would you like to do this, and then when they're already saying no, then the entire experience will just be begrudging and uncomfortable. So I mean, at that point, when somebody just puts up a wall, then I just kind of walk away at that point.
And I would say also, if they're just wanting one or the other of us, they ought to hit us up outside of the show, because we are a package deal. Although I didn't mind telling her what I told her, I did feel uncomfortable. And like I said, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you that opportunity. And so, yeah, she declined. That's fine. She declined. I don't have a problem doing that, but I think that should be done on our personal website. And
right.
then,
yeah, for sure.
What they need there.
And then also just, my own 2 cents is, Jessica, if you're out there listening in the archives, please pick up our Alchemy Annex on wealth manifestation. It really will, I think, make a difference when we seem to be in this problem that's so endemic of every single, month after month after month. Am I going to be okay? Am I going to pay my bills? That kind of thing. That people are so caught up in the grind of being in control of their living situation that they just get too lost in it. Eventually, it becomes to the point where we are truly unable to surrender to spirit because we are so caught up in the grind. And this is such the main focus. So my advice to you in this whole process and everything you're going through, start focusing on the things that bring you joy, because by building up that own personal currency, then you'll be able to see things a lot more clearly. I mean, otherwise, then we're going to be playing the game next month. When am I going to get a new job because this other one didn't work out itself out? Or that there's some new big bad, the big bad that continues to rear its ugly head each and every single time. Big Bubba will always come back for you all the time until you've learned that lesson, because that's just the way that the universe works. We are continuously reminded of the things that we cannot control and of the things that we need to work on about ourselves. This is what we call the shadow self. So I just want to leave everybody with this here today, that on our next program on the Alchemy Annex, we'll be talking about I Choose Me, but another big part of that I Choose Me also deals with addressing those parts of ourselves that we don't like or that we very much struggle with. It really does make a difference when we can sort of step outside of ourselves and just move forward into the future. Remember that the opposite energy of moving forward is defensiveness. So anytime we are defensive about something, that we're expecting that knife in our back, or we're expecting for everything to come crashing down on us with that little black storm cloud that so many of us carry with us, that doesn't allow us to move forward because we're paralyzed by fear. Fear runs the show. And I can tell you from a psychological perspective that whenever we behave out of fear, obligation, or guilt, we don't get the desired results that we're really looking for. That's just a fact about life.
Yeah, you can't get those desired. When you're coming from that ego sense, you can't get the desired results. It's not like that, no. You're absolutely right.
So we do want to thank all of our guests for joining us for today, and it was a great show as always. We will be back with you guys next Sunday on the 18th for our Alchemy Annex program called I Choose Me. It will be a 30-minute program, but then afterwards we'll take about a half hour's worth of call-ins. For anybody who has any questions, please give us a call back on that show. After that, we will be transitioning into our Patreon model. So that will just be a half-hour slot, and then we'll take our call-ins over on that platform. For all other things Uranian Astrology, be sure to check out eastrologer.tv, and you can find Veretta at verettavision.com. Veretta, thanks so much, as always, for joining me today. It was great. I've loved having you on the show, and all of the conversations that we had with our guests today. It was really a terrific show.
Likewise, Ernesto. I really enjoy working with you. Can't wait to look for next Wednesday. No.
Next Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep. So have a great week, everybody, and we will be back with you guys next Sunday. And have a happy Father's Day for those of you who are going to be taking some time off to spend time with your families. Until next time, it has been real as always. This is another episode of Free Akashic Records Readings, satisfaction guaranteed or your money back, powered by Celestial Intersections Radio. Take care, and until next time, good luck and Godspeed.
Happy weekend. Bye-bye.